and welcome to this year's first webinar on common practices in trademark examination in relation to distinctiveness and types of marks. And also at the same time agree on a practice paper which was prepared by our expert, which could be a useful practical extension of the existing WIPO trademark manual. So without further ado, our speaker today is Ms. Sofia Mujiri, whom you know already. She's an SME from the Georgian IP office and works with us in the CarIPI team. Sofia, please.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm very happy to meet you today again. So it was very nice actually to meet all of you face-to-face in St. Lucia. So what is today's topic? We will continue talking about types of marks and distinctiveness of trademarks in absolute grounds. I presented this topic already, and I would like to thank you actually very much for your input, your questionnaires that you filled in. First of all, again, thank you very much for the filled in questionnaires. I analyzed the questionnaires and I have some questions still because I had some feeling that some questions, like the answers that you put on yes or no, it was a little bit misunderstanding, and you ticked yes or no instead of you mixed the answers. So I would like really to kindly ask you today to work together, because we have already developed this manual, and I need still a little bit of input of you, and I will be very happy if we will manage to finalize all the free open questions that we still have, and then I will manage to finish the document, to send it to you for your revision, and then we will publish it. Okay, so today I will be speaking again about the types of marks that I've already presented, and we will see how I will put them in this manual. We will have as well the examples and principles concerning distinctiveness in absolute grounds. Then I've prepared the kind of table of legal references concerning distinctiveness, and I tried to fill in this table as well, but still I'm missing some countries that I would like to ask at the end of my presentation to provide the legal references concerning distinctiveness, and we will discuss next steps, what could be, and of course I will be happy anytime to answer your questions or any comments you might have. Okay, so the manual that I've prepared, it has the 5 parts. We have the background, then we have the project scope, then types of marks and definitions and examples, distinctiveness in absolute grounds, and legal references that I've already mentioned. And on the right side, you see that, of course, each section has its subsections, and we have, for example, for the type of marks, all types of marks included, and as well assessment of distinctiveness concerning different types of marks. The information that we have in this document relates to, again, to definition of different types of marks and practical aspects of examination procedures, but it is general information that the applicants might receive from this document, but of course it's not intending to give advice on specific aspects of examination, under your national legislation, but it's more the general for them to have an understanding which type of marks are registered in respective countries and how they generally distinctiveness of different types of marks are assessed. I received like the questionnaires from 12 countries that we analyzed, and these countries are Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Barbados, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Guyana, Suriname, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica. And I know that we have as well other countries that didn't fill in questionnaires, but I mean, feel free if you would like and to participate in this exercise. You can. I'm pretty sure that you all of you have these questionnaires. We send these questionnaires to you by email. We will send it after this meeting as again. If you needed like some more explanations to fill in these questionnaires, maybe it's the right time to do so. And these are for other countries: Bahamas, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Vincent, who are missing still in this paper. And I hope that by the end of this exercise, we will have responses from those countries as well. So these are like the results that we have put in this table. I have like the countries and all the types of marks. Like only word, figurative, and mixed marks are the mark types that are protected in all respective countries, like in 12 countries that filled in this questionnaire. But the rest, like some of you, you don't have certain types of marks, or you protect it in under a different type of mark. But I decided like to leave all types of marks just for the overview, just for like the users, so who will have a look at this manual, or for the IP offices as well. It would be nice for you to see, to have an overview if you will be interested in in other countries, whether they are registered or not. You have a kind of overview here. So here are the definitions of each and every type of mark. And then we have as well like the assessment of distinctiveness, and you can and we have as well footnotes to the sections related to the types of marks not accepted by an office, will not be applicable to the country. Yeah. So, for example, afterwards, when we assess the distinctiveness, and in the beginning, I have for each and every type of mark indicated which type of mark is protected in the respective countries. But at the end, afterwards, when we have like the distinctiveness, this will mean automatically that the type of mark which is not accepted and registered by certain office, that this distinctiveness will not apply assessment of distinctiveness to that countries as well. Yeah. And now, so we will start. I will shortly, because you all know that the idea of this exercise is that the results that I've summarized, that you confirm whether you agree with that or not. Maybe I missed something, or I did it not in a correct way. So please confirm. So whether like these results that we have analyzed are correct. And I would really appreciate if when during my presentation, you will put in the chat that you like if you agree, then won't need any comment. But if you don't agree, like maybe you can put your comment in the chat that afterwards I will manage to analyze and to add this. For example, as I mentioned, like the first three types of marks, which are word, figurative, and mixed marks, I didn't have any discrepancies there. Like all of the countries are accepting these types of marks, and definitions were acceptable. So like we will have this in the document, the respective definitions. So the first like type of mark that I wanted to discuss with you is pattern mark. So, and the pattern mark, as we already know, is a mark that it's consisting of a set of verbal and figurative elements which are repeated regularly and represented in black and white or in color. And it can contain as well, of course, like figurative elements or word elements, as well as we can see in this slide. And here, like the document will include like the footnote, will have a footnote indicating that, for example, like the pattern marks are not protected in Barbados, in Cuba, in Suriname. In Cuba, pattern mark would be registered as mixed marks, figurative, or three-dimensional signs. This is like the responses that I received from your questionnaire. So please think about this. And if you do not agree with that, and there are more countries which are not registering, for example, pattern marks, please let me know in chat. Yeah. Okay. Then we have color marks. Color marks are the marks consisting of a single color or combination of colors without contours. And I had only two countries, this is Cuba and St. Lucia, that indicated that they are not protecting color marks as such. So the idea is here just to identify that okay, overall that, for example, I have received some comments that colors could be considered only like in connection to figurative elements. They could be in color or like or mixed marks or not, but we speak here only about color as an identificator of the goods and services. And please feel free to write in the chat if there are more countries which are not registering color mark as such, okay? Then we have like a definition of the shape marks, and shape marks are defined as trademarks consisting of or extending to a three-dimensional shape, including containers, packaging, the product itself, or the appearance. And here I had like Barbados that is not protecting shape marks. And I think that I had some comments on this bottle from Guyana that whether like it's not very good image here. You have on the like this line does not refer to this trademark. So the trademark three-dimensional mark is here only the bottle of the water. Yeah. Okay, then we have the definition of the position mark, and a position mark consists of the specific way in which the mark is placed or affixed to the product. And position marks are not protected in Barbados, in Cuba, and in St. Lucia. In Cuba, position mark could be registered as mixed figurative or three-dimensional signs. And in Suriname, positions marks are registered as figurative or mixed marks. So if you would like to have, I don't know, additional information in the footnote, please feel free, let me know if there are more countries. Anyway, you will all receive this document for your comments, for your revision, and of course we will finalize it after when you see it. And then we have the definition of the sound mark containing in the document, which is a combination of sounds that can distinguish goods and services and audio signature of a product. And a sound mark can be submitted as an audio file or in a form of musical notation. And sound, there are many countries where sound marks are not registered. For example, in Cuba, like legislation provides for registration of a sound mark. However, there is no secondary legislation, and the office is still not ready to receive sound marks for registration. Like in Jamaica, sound marks should be represented graphically, and in Trinidad and Tobago, sound marks should be represented graphically, but it's as well possible to provide like the MP3 file of the sound mark. Then we have like a definition of motion mark. Like the motion mark, as we all know, is a new type of mark which could be represented in a series of still sequential images, or it could be a video. But the motion mark mainly is a mark which consists or extends to a movement or a change in the position of the elements of the mark. And in addition to movement, the mark may also include words, figurative elements, labels, but it cannot include sounds. And like motion marks are not protected in many countries. I think you can see all those countries where motion marks are not protected on the screen. In Trinidad and Tobago, graphical representation is required, which means that a series of still sequential images could be also already only filed as a motion mark. But in other countries, it's not possible to protect at all. Yeah. Okay, and then we have like the multimedia mark, which is combination of images and sounds. And it's basically like a motion mark. When we add to like the sound to the motion mark, then we will have a multimedia mark, and multimedia marks are not protected in following countries: in Antigua and Barbuda, in Barbados, so in Belize, in Cuba, in Guyana, in Haiti, in St. Lucia, in St. Davis and Kitts, and in Suriname. And then we have like the last type of mark, which is hologram marks, consisting of elements with holographic characteristics. And I'm sorry for this here, like it's not multimedia mark, but should be hologram marks, not protected in respective countries. Sorry for that. And then we have like smell and olfactory marks, which are marks that consist of a unique smell that identifies product or services. And examples of smell mark are, for example, tennis ball with fresh grass smell, coconut smell for shoes, or cherry smell for toothbrushes. And smell marks are not protected in Antigua and Barbuda, in Barbados, in Belize, in Guyana, in Haiti, in St. Lucia, in St. Kitts and Nevis. And in Cuba, legislation again provides for registration of smell marks, but like the office still does not have a specific instructions on that, and they cannot accept smell mark applications for the registration. And then we have like the tactile marks, which are as well called touch marks. These are the marks that are like that capture the feel of a good or service. And tactile marks are characterized by features of a product that can be felt by touch. For example, it would be crackle glass texture for like this drink. And these marks are not protected, these types of marks in all these countries that you can see. on the screen, and mainly these are like all the types of marks that more or less exist in the world. We have all the definitions and all the countries in your region who accept them and who do not. And now I would like to ask you if you have any comments so far, if you would like to um, add something, if there are some countries that could be added to this list, and if you are okay with that, we will have the definition and then the footnote indicating in which countries the respective marks are not protected. So in all other countries, it will mean that the definition applies and they protect these marks. And at the end, we will have, I have already shown to you this list for the general overview. Like, I mean, in the document, after all these definitions, we will have like this summary, as a summary, this table with indication in which countries respective trademarks are protected. And now, any comments, any questions so far? No questions, no comments, please.
So yes, Sofia, there are some comments in the chat actually.
Ah, really? Okay,
yeah.
I cannot see it. So
yes,
let me open
first
chat.
of all, first comment comes from San Lucia, indicating that they do not register color marks. However, they do register color because sign is included in the definition of trademark. So they would like to correct this. They would like to correct this.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. So yeah, we will correct that. Mariana, can we have then like the compilation of these comments in one paper?
Of course, yeah. We will save the chat and we will have it all noted down. There's also Suriname informing that smell marks are not protected in Suriname, and color marks and shape are also not protected in Suriname.
Yeah, so, but okay, in Suriname smell marks, I think that wait. Smell marks.
If you can go back to it, yes, Suriname is not listed here.
Okay, sorry.
So we should include the country?
Yeah. Suriname should be added because I have it in my table maybe, so yeah.
Yes, anyway, we will go back to all these comments and update the table.
Okay. Any other comments?
These are the three.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you very much for your comments. Anyway, we will send you the document. You will have another chance to have a look at that. And I would like as well to hear any comments from those countries who didn't fill in this questionnaire. So how they feel about that. Would they like to participate in this initiative, or they rather like prefer not to?
Yes, maybe Sophia, you have the list, no, of countries not filling in the questionnaire. Could we?
Yeah, for example, if we have like representative of Dominica, Grenada, or Bahamas, I know that is not registered, but if we have, because I cannot see all the participants, so if we have somebody from Dominica, from Grenada, and St. Vincent, maybe you will tell us whether you want still to fill in the questionnaire to send that we add before I finalize the document. This would be great, unless since you are here to know from you.
So I do see representatives from the member states you mentioned.
Yeah.
If anyone is willing to speak on this, on the intention, willingness to participate in this exercise, please feel free.
Yeah, or maybe you'll write in chat. So in St. Lucia, you were also active and we had such a nice active conversation and discussion there. So I would like to hear from you here as well. Okay. If you do not feel like to reply, anyway, we will send the questionnaires again to those countries who didn't fill it in to give you some time. Maybe you will decide still to fill it in and to get back to us. But you can do it right now as well. If you feel like, you can write in the chat whether you accept, for example, word marks, figurative marks, mixed marks, pattern marks, color marks, shape marks, position marks. Just let us know, yes or no. And then the same we can do with with the other distinctiveness of the mark. Okay. No, I would like not from St. Lucia, but I wanted to hear from other countries, because we have 4 countries who didn't fill in the questionnaire. So, and what I wanted to hear was their opinion, whether they still want to participate in this initiative, and we will need still to wait for them, or like we can then afterwards finalize the document without their input. So far we have 12 countries.
About that, as you're not looking at the chat, actually Grenada is saying that they would like to participate, and Dominica will provide an updated response to the questionnaire. This is what we have. I believe Robert Branch wanted
Yes,
to...
good morning, and my apologies for joining. Yeah, I've had some challenges with the internet and computer. So Grenada is definitely interested. We just had a particular challenge being new to the office, and with corporate affairs, we had some challenges there. We weren't able to direct the resources to do it, but within the next couple of days, I'll definitely do it and revert to you. So thank you, and my apologies.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. We will be happy to receive this from you. And I see as well another comment from Daniel saying that the original questionnaire was filled out and left on the table as requested. Daniel, I'm very sorry, but we do not have this questionnaire. Maybe we lost it somewhere. If it's our fault, but the result is that we do not have this questionnaire, and if you won't mind to fill it in again, it would be very much appreciated. And again, sorry that somehow it happened that we don't have the questionnaire from Dominica. Yeah. Okay, so at least I would be really happy if we manage at least 2 more countries for that. We will send Mariana, is it possible to put this questionnaire in chat? Maybe some of them, they would like to fill in these questionnaires now.
We can send it for sure by email. I will check if we could send it directly. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Check, and I will inform when it's done.
Okay, great. Okay, this was like the first part of this document, like about types of marks, and then now we have, sorry, as well, part of distinctiveness concerning each type of mark. We have like the definition of the distinctiveness, what distinctiveness means, and as I mentioned to you, we will have like at the end the legal references that afterwards I would like to ask you to revise it together as well. So the distinctiveness is overall the ability of a mark to identify and distinguish the goods and or services of one undertaking from those of another undertaking. And I believe that we all agree on this principle, and that distinctiveness should be assessed concerning goods and services applied for, first of all, and then we assess distinctiveness in relation to the relevant public we are using respective goods and services, because this is, as we discussed and a lot during our meeting in St. Lucia, it's quite important which are the goods and services applied for and what is the relevant public for specific goods and services. And in that regard, I don't have any comments from the countries. Then I think concerning this word elements, there was some misunderstanding. The idea here is about like the principle, what we say here, that there are certain words or terms that indicate certain characteristic, quality or function of the goods and services, or they are just frequently used as such, and they will be non-distinctive if we apply these terms or like words together with another non-distinctive parts. Because I received some comments from some countries that, for example, these non-distinctive elements could be like that you can put disclaimer on that, but we speak only on those cases when either these terms are applied just as such without any additional element, for example, eco, like, or just green. Imagine like the green overall. I had some comments that, for example, green, it depends on the goods and services, but for the most like goods and services, maybe like the green will mean like environmentally friendly, and it's overall the world is not very good for, it's mostly non-distinctive to be registered as a trademark. But if we put like this element together with, for example, like it's um, applied for like juices, yeah, and we put like green apple, and apple for juices is non-distinctive as well. So then overall, the trademark will, it will not be possible just to disclaim this. So we speak here only about the cases when these word elements or the terms are used either separately or in combination with another non-distinctive element, so that there will be nothing to disclaim. If you disclaim the word, like any of the part, then nothing will be protected in this mark. So, and I think that here I had the comment from Suriname and Barbados, like they all marked like the nose for all these terms. Like Haiti is not here with us. For them, like flexi was not considered distinctive. And I had some comments from Guyana as well. But maybe if I can ask Suriname and Barbados, if you do not, if my understanding is correct, that you do not agree with this principle, and can I put in the footnote that Suriname and Barbados do not agree with this principle as such? No worries, no worries. Like most important for me is to have your answer, that I understood that correctly. So, and I would appreciate if Barbados will write in the chat as well if they do not agree with this principle as well. So that, because it could be like, I understand, like, for example, in Suriname, maybe because of the language, like, I don't know, maybe flex doesn't mean anything. So, or mini, I don't know. So we fully understand that, but it's just that to know your reply on that, it would be great. Okay, then I will move forward again. Or if there are any other countries that do not agree on this principle, or I asked as well to you to provide your examples. So it will be, but we didn't receive any examples from any of the countries. It will be as well highly appreciated You could do it as well here in the chat if you have in mind some examples concerning like this non-distinctive bond elements, or concerning like the local registration of any type of marks that the document as well contains, like the trademarks that are locally registered. It would be highly appreciated as well. Okay, then we have like distinctiveness concerning like the top level domain endings such as org, net, int, and company legal forms like inc, SAS, or LLC. That if we add this to non-distinctive words, it will not render or add any distinctiveness to that. For example, it could be like TV org, yeah, for some services concerning broadcasting services, yeah, or music inc for music services, or food LLC if it will be for 32 class goods, yeah. I had in my notes actually here some countries that they do not agree to this principle, but I can't see them now. Just a second. Yeah, and I had like Barbados, again, Suriname, and Haiti that they answered that they do not agree on this principle. And I would like to ask again, like these countries like Barbados, Suriname, Haiti, we don't have them here, whether my understanding is correct and you do not agree on this principle concerning, yeah, concerning these top level domains and endings of the companies. And I would like to ask you, for example, CarIPI team, that in this chat we have answered, yes, we do not agree either. If you can just make a note that it concerns to this.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very much. So you don't agree. So in this case, we will have here again the footnote saying that Suriname, this principle does not apply to Suriname. So, and that you are not following the same practice. Okay, thank you very much. Then we have like distinctiveness of single letters and overall like single letters could be registered as trademarks, but some of them they cannot function as trademark as it can be devoid of distinctive character for the goods and services concerned. For example, S, just single letter S for cars, will not be distinctive for cars, as this letter is commonly used to designate sport cars. But we have an example here, like the letter W, that could be distinctive for transport, packaging, and storages of goods, or for example, travel arrangements. I have here as well, like disclaimer in the document that single letters are not considered distinctive in Cuba, in Dominican Republic, in St. Kitts and Nevis, and in Suriname. And I would like to ask you as well if you could confirm that this understanding is correct, and there are, or if there are any other countries that do not consider single letters as distinctive and they do not protect or they are not following this principle. So we would highly appreciate if you could answer in chat to us. Okay, and here, concerning the simple geometric shapes and figures, overall, like it is considered that they are not distinctive. And here I had many countries that answered that they didn't agree on this principle. And I would like to now to ask you whether you do not whether you consider that could be these shapes be distinctive in your countries? Like if it's just a circle filed as an application, or triangle or rectangle without anything. So would you consider them distinctive? So does it mean that you do not follow this principle and the simple geometric figures are protected in your country? So I have here again Haiti, Suriname, and Dominican Republic, where they answered that these shapes will be considered as trademarks. And I would like that you reconfirm that my understanding is correct and you registered this type of mark in your countries. And for example, these punctuation marks or typographic symbols, mathematic symbols. I had as well some comments, especially, sorry, concerning this mark, that it could be considered Suriname when it's indicated in certain style. No, so yeah, thank you very much. So yes, when it's stylized, when it's in colors or it has additional element, it's maybe we will consider as distinctive, but we speak here only about simple shape. So it is simple triangle in black and white or in I don't know, so in one color without any additional elements. So this is what I wanted to make clear, so that we have the principle which says only single figurative element without additional word elements. Yeah. So, and the same applies to these other symbols. And then we had here some advertising slogans, and here I had as well some countries that they do not agree on this principle. For example, like the principle is that simple advertising slogans that merely convey information about the goods and services for which protection is sought and will be perceived as a mere promotional formula will not be deemed distinctive to concerning any goods or services. For example.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Morning. Happy New Year to you as
Thank
well.
You.
Could you go back to the previous slide? I have a question. So the first two symbols below in the last line, right? So the exclamation and the circle with the percentage, you would find that these two marks would be devoid of distinctive character regardless of the goods or services, or that it may be distinctive in certain circumstances.
That's correct. So it's like the overall understanding that these first two signs are devoid of distinctive characters overall. So like exclamation marks is not providing any information about the goods. So yeah.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And yeah, for example, the same applies here for these slogans. For example, buy two, get three, or our products are the best. So the products, we know that it could be products or services. So this is so nothing special in there, yeah. Or we do things better. And then here again, please have a look at the slogans. I really appreciate if you will provide your own examples that you consider that would be more relevant for your customers, and we can adjust these examples if you wish to do so. But as well, for example, Haiti and St. Kitts and Nevis, they answered that these slogans will be considered distinctive. And for Dominican Republic, first two slogans will be considered distinctive and the rest not. So I want to ask you as well to have a look again whether my understanding is correct, that for example in Dominican Republic, buy two get three will be considered as distinctive signs, and our products are the best will be considered distinctive as well. We have Dominican Republic here, yeah, in the meeting. So I would appreciate if you could give an answer on that, whether these two first slogans will be considered distinctives in your country. And then we have like the assessment of slogans. So advertising slogans might be distinctive in certain cases if they constitute a play on words or introduces elements of conceptual intrigue or surprise, so that it may be perceived as imaginative, surprising, or unexpected, or has some particular originality or resonance. And we have here like the list of these situations where advertising slogans might be considered distinctive. And here again, I had some countries that they agree on certain principles and then some of them they do not agree on these principles. So and if you can have a look again on those principles and let me know whether like I don't know, unusual syntactic structures. So if it's something very unusual, whether this could be considered as distinctive, or if it's a paradox, or if it's like the play on words, if you agree with that or not. And for example, I think I had more countries that did not agree on these examples. For example, distinctive slogans that wet dust can't fly, or love to lounge, and Haiti. I think I had another country here as well that does not agree, and these slogans will be considered. These slogans will not be considered distinctive in Haiti. Yeah, and your input would be highly appreciated here concerning the slogans as well. And again, I'll repeat myself that if you would like to provide your example, I will be very happy with that as well. Yeah. Do you have any questions you want to ask, like, or? Okay, then I will continue with the like the labels. And here I had a comment from the country saying that if it will have additional elements, that it might be considered distinctive. But here, these examples we have only for those cases where these labels are applied for as a trademark without any additional elements. So we see only this kind of frames without additional figurative or word elements. And like we consider that these are very simple and commonly used figurative elements to the connection of the goods, because the goods usually like they have some labels. Yeah, you put like your trademark usually on the label, and there's just the simple labels without any additional figurative elements. They are not considered as distinctive. Then we have like the pattern marks. Pattern marks will be considered distinctive if they are original, unusual, or arbitrary, and not commonly used in relevant field for certain goods, and can be memorized by the relevant public, that it can serve like the trademark as function, yeah, so like to identify the goods and services. And certain patterns may be very like usual and banal, used commonly in the field. And for example, this famous Louis Vuitton pattern where we have all these logos, this will be considered distinctive, but like the other pattern, which on the right side, this will not be considered distinctive. And again, so I don't have here any footnotes because like this will apply this principle or distinctiveness of pattern marks only to those countries who register the pattern marks, and from those countries I didn't receive any comment that they do not agree on this principle. But if you have like different opinion or you would like to change that, feel free, let me know, and we will include respective footnote or like disclaimer in this part as well. Then we have assessment of distinctiveness concerning the color marks. Color marks are not distinctive for any goods and services except under exceptional circumstances, and this we know. But overall, like the goods and services, like they are the trademarks could be in different colors, and this could be like a really specific case, and we don't have many colors that to be considered as distinctive as a trademark and registered. But color combination should be refused in the following situations. Yes, when they have just decorative element of the goods. A color can be the nature of the goods. A color can be technically functional. A color may indicate a particular characteristic of the goods, such as flavor, or a color combination should also be refused if the existence of the color combination can already be found on the market, in particular if used by different competitors. So these are these principles that we have in this document, and we will have again here disclaimer if any of you do not agree on this principle. Then we have like the shape marks. I need to go a little bit quicker because we are running out of time. And the shape marks. So what are the criteria that are relevant for the shape marks? The shape marks will not be distinctive if it's a basic shape or combination of the basic shapes. The shape must depart significantly from the shape that it is expected by the consumer, and it must depart significantly from the norm of customs of the sector. If it's not enough for the shape to be just a variant of a common shape or a variant of a number of shapes in an area where there is a huge diversity of design and the functional shapes. Yeah? So, and we have here like the examples, for example, this memory card is not distinctive for like the image of this memory card, but then we have like the additional word element that it is distinctive, and if it's like the big enough and sufficiently large, it will be considered as distinctive overall, and the mark will be registered. But if the element is large, but overall it's not distinctive as such as SPF 450, then it will not be considered distinctive. It will not end any distinctiveness. And then we have like the word element, which is very small, overall distinctive as such, but if it's very small and it is not visible, will not be contributing to the distinctiveness of the mark. So, and I think that all the countries were fine with these examples, but then we have like here this example. There are specific goods, for example, the tracks, and on the tracks, like the trademarks, we know that you cannot put in a very large size, and in this case, like this Gore trademark, which is on the track and is distinctive, will be as such considered distinctive. And we have again only Haiti, which does not agree with this principle, but they are not present here. Then we had a few other examples concerning color contrast. If the element is distinctive, then the contrast should be quite visible. And we see here the bottle and the ball. On the bottle, this image is visible, whereas on the ball, like you cannot see this image of gorilla. And then I had this bottle of the drinking water that we all agree that this shape is not distinctive for drinking waters, but we have here the word element, which says like ECP. So, and the idea of this example is that if the word element is considered distinctive, and if we put it on non-distinctive shape mark, then it can add distinctiveness to the mark. But apparently Antigua and Barbuda and Haiti, they do not agree on that. And if I'm not wrong, St. Lucia had as well some comments concerning this example. I would be happy to receive your feedback on this example as well. Then position. So it is not the position mark, because some replied that the position marks are not protected, but like it's so in this regard, on this shape mark, we speak about the marks where the form of the product, like these bottles, is non-distinctive, and then how the different aspect, like position of the work element or figurative elements, can influence the distinctiveness of the marks. And here we say it so that if the principle is that the verbal and figurative elements can be identified as distinctive in all of these examples, and the position doesn't matter where it would be up or the down. And like the overall design will be considered distinctive. But here we have additional like word element, like it is 983. And for wines, it could be like the vintage of the wine, which is non-distinctive word element, and this cannot add distinctiveness to the mark. Then we say that concerning these verbal elements, like the position can affect the distinctiveness. If we put like this on cosmetic bottles, like in the middle, like the close as a word element is distinctive for this product. But if we put it where you open and close the product, then it will not considered as distinctive. And I think all countries agree on that. If you don't agree, so the idea of this meeting is to tell me, and we will change this. Yeah. Then the color. In principle, like that, we had this memory card in black and white. We have the memory card in yellow. Just if we change the color, it will not change anything. And in this example, there is nothing it will not be considered as a badge of origin. But for example, here in this it is electric door opener, and electric door openers, we do not have them usually in this color, and it can add a distinctive character to the mark. And it is Haiti that does not agree with this principle. Yeah. And yeah, it's a particular color and arrangement. Yeah, concerning the product, like for the chairs, it will not be considered distinctive, but for the wind turbines, it could add something special on that. And then we have like the combination of different factors and where we have the situations where a shape, a mark contains more than one of the elements reviewed above. But there can be different cases where more than one of the above mentioned factors are relevant to determine the impact of the element in the distinctiveness of the sign. And we have here like the two different examples as well. I think that you were all fine with that. Yes, then we have as well like the distinctiveness concerning position marks, and for position marks, we have this principle here and example as well. And distinctiveness of a position marks depends on the perception of the relevant public, and it will be considered distinctive if the relevant public will identify it as different from the normal appearance of the products itself, and the positioning of the mark upon the goods is likely to be understood as having a trademark context. And here, in this case, it is considered as a trademark. Then we have like the assessment of distinctiveness concerning the sound marks. And we said that, for example, in Cuba, legislation provides registration of sound marks. However, it is not possible so far to register the sound marks. And in Jamaica, sound marks should be represented graphically. And in Trinidad and Tobago, there should be as well graphic representation represented. So concerning distinctiveness of the motion marks, for the motion marks, like the general criteria for assessing distinctiveness will apply. It means that the image should be distinctive as such, and for example, if the image is not distinctive, for example, premium, then it is not like the goods could be premium, yeah. So and in that case, this will not be considered distinctive. And the same applies with the multimedia mark. In this case as well, like the the elements of the multimedia marks should be distinctive as such. And I think that all of you agreed on that. When the multimedia marks are distinctive, and in hologram marks, it is the same. We have combination of distinctive verbal and figurative elements that makes hologram mark distinctive and as such. And I'm sorry, I talked too much, I think, and now I need your help, your input. Here on this slide, you can see the legal references. Like some of the countries, when filled in the questionnaires, they indicated as well the legal references concerning distinctiveness. I picked them up. I looked for another, some countries that those who didn't have indication of legal references, I tried to find them. And now I would like to give you like 2-3 minutes that you have a look at these legal references and you reply in the chat whether you agree with that. But for example, from Barbados and Crew, like for Barbados, actually, I found on the VIPA website, but I think that it was the part of like the bigger, I don't know if it's industrial property code or legal act, but I couldn't find the name of the legal act, but it was like Article 9 ACD in my understanding. I couldn't manage to find like the respective legislation of Cuba and respective legislation of Suriname. For the rest of the countries, there are indication of trademark acts and as well the respective articles which define the distinctiveness. And now I would like to ask you to have a look and to write in the chat whether these articles are correct. And okay, thank you. I have already from Cuba. It's a trademark law, Article 16.
In the meantime, this is just to say that the questionnaires have been sent again to all the registered participants. So the countries who have not filled, the questionnaires in, they can do so now or later and send it back to us so we can include them in the exercise.
Yeah, thank you very much. So until you are looking for or checking like the legal references, okay, Suriname regulations on industrial property. Is it like the name of the document? Yeah, the regulations on industrial property. And if you can indicate as well the respective article. Thank you, Jamaica. And maybe if you have on in front of you the links of the documents that I can find online, and you can put the links, it would be as well appreciated. Okay, thank you very much. So maybe you need a few more minutes to check this, or we will anyway send it to you. Like now, I really would ask Barbados to fill it in to tell us which act regulates that, because I have the articles, but maybe I will search a little bit more and I'll find this as well. Okay, what are the next steps? Like the next step is to finalize the manual on the types of marks and distinctiveness of trademarks in upfront round with your input, like I wanted to do it today, but some countries are missing. Some have as well, I guess that at least two of you want to provide like the fielding questionnaire. So I would say like this then. So today we have 17th of January. So if you could provide your fielding questionnaires until the end of this week would be great. Barbados is back. I think what I would like to ask you is to tell us which act regulates the trademark registration in Barbados. And I found that distinctiveness concerns like the Article 9, A, C, and D. And if you could confirm that.
Hi, good morning, everyone. The Trademarks Act is the Trademarks Act, Cap 319 of Barbados, that regulates our trademarks law.
It's trademarks law, yeah?
Yeah, the Trademarks Act, yeah.
Okay, the Trademarks Act. Thank you very much. So then we will send these questionnaires to like the document to you for final confirmation or comments by the end of January. So then we will ask to send your comments until the end of February. And then we will decide to have the final documents provided to CarIPI team for final publication. And then maybe we can discuss if, for example, Suriname would like to have this document in Dutch, or Cuba wants to have it in the Dominican Republic, yeah, so like in Spanish, that we can discuss. So but we think to finalize sometime in the end of February, like in the first mid of March, this document. So this is something that we were thinking about, but I really like to hear from you. Any comments, any, I don't know, recommendations, any queries that you can have, if it will be something that you would like, or you would like to change the format of the document. So any suggestions, any comments, highly appreciated. So this is all what I wanted to tell you, and now it's your turn. If you have any comments, any questions.